Oh, we forgot about Kathy. Kathy, we ain't forgot about you. We back at your door. You still got a job. It's been a couple weeks now, and Kathy's still employed. Hold up, wait a minute.
So Kathy Engelbert still has a job.
Yeah, you heard that right. After all the craziness, the fan outrage, and that whole Caitlin Clark situation, the WNBA commissioner is somehow still sitting pretty. You have to wonder, should Kathy have been fired weeks ago, or is there actually someone out there who thinks she deserves to stay? Honestly, after everything we've seen, how does she still have that title next to her name? Fans booed her on national TV, players called her out in interviews, and even the league's biggest supporters were like, maybe it's time for her to go.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert.
But nope, Kathy basically said, y'all can boo me, I'm not moving. It's almost impressive how unbothered she is by public opinion. Look, this isn't just about one bad comment or a few mistakes. This is about years of questionable decisions, some really shady money deals, and a pure disconnect from the players who actually make this league matter. And somehow, she's still running the show. The fans are mad, like really mad. The moment Kathy walked on stage to hand that finals trophy to A'ja Wilson, the crowd made it loud and clear.
Thank you, Holly. Well, we're here today to celebrate a champion. Thank you to all the fans. Phoenix had a great run to get here. And I just want to congratulate the Aces on a performance. 2025 WNBA champions.
The performance.
What's crazy is the scene during that trophy presentation. We're talking boos, middle fingers, and ESPN literally had to blur the camera feed because it was that bad. You truly can't make this stuff up. If that had happened in any other league, the commissioner would have been forced out by Monday morning. But not Kathy. She's apparently bulletproof.
Started to come out. We got more footage that is starting to reemerge in regards to Kathy Engelbert and her distaste, her disdain for none other than superstar player.
Plus, here's the thing. This isn't just about the Caitlin Clark feud. This goes way deeper than that. Remember when Kathy tried to downplay Caitlin's impact? Reporters asked about Clark's rise, and Kathy said, "No league is ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever." That comment alone told us everything we needed to know. That wasn't about balance, that was about control. Kathy's been around long enough to know that when one player becomes the face of the league, that player gains power, and clearly, she doesn't like that. Because right now, Caitlin Clark is worth more to the WNBA than Kathy Engelbert's entire office. That's not an exaggeration. Caitlin boosted viewership, jersey sales, and ticket revenue. She's the reason the WNBA has been trending all year. Meanwhile, Kathy's main contribution has been making every press conference sound like a corporate HR meeting. And the fans know it. That's why when she tried to play neutral during the Caitlin controversy, pretending she didn't notice the officiating issues, the bias, or the constant targeting, fans absolutely lost it. Because silence is a statement, and Kathy's silence spoke volume.
So do you feel that you're still the right voice and expect to continue to be commissioner beyond this CBA?
I certainly, that's another inaccurate statement out there that everybody reads and takes clickbait on. Obviously, I've never been a quitter. I'm entering my 40th year, actually this month, in business. Never been a quitter, never shied away from tough situations. I think leadership, the cream always rises to the top, and I've always been someone who believes in the fact that we have, if there's things we need to fix, we're going to fix them. If there are things the players have a perspective on that they don't like that we're doing or I'm doing, we'll fix them, Malika. So I think there's a point in time when obviously there's a lot of, and I said emotion, passion, whatever you want to call it, about what's going on right now. The league has grown enormously over the last 5 years. It's incredible what these players have done day in and day out, and they deserve all the credit. But as I said, my staff and the staff of the teams and the owners in this league have made tons of investments to get to where we are today. And so I'm not going to shy away. I'm the commissioner of this league, the leader of this league. I think we've accomplished a lot, but we have a lot more hard work to do. There's so many more things we can do together, and I hope that the players see that. And I'm certainly, looking forward to meeting with them in the off season as we get to the next level, especially with so many great things that are going to happen in the off season into next season.
It looked like she was more interested in protecting the league's image than protecting its players. But let's talk about the real reason people want her gone, the money. This story gets messy once you start following the numbers. See, back in 2022, Kathy sold 16% of the entire league. Not a team, not a partnership, but the league itself. And she sold that 16% for around $75 million. Now, at first that sounded like a smart move. Extra funding, more resources, a little boost for the WNBA to grow. Except, here's the catch. That 16% is now worth around $400 million. Yeah, she basically sold the league's future for the price of one NBA role player. And get this, guess who's furious about it? Not just the fans, not just the players, but the owners. Because now the league is growing faster than anyone expected, and that deal Kathy made back then is haunting them. They could have been sitting on massive profits, but instead, they're stuck with an outdated deal that benefits outside investors more than the teams themselves. That's why people are saying the owners want her out too. They're tired of her decisions costing them money. So at this point, it's not even about the Caitlin Clark comments anymore. It's about leadership, or more accurately, the lack of it. Even players like Nafisa Collier and Kelsey Plum have hinted that things behind the scenes are bad, that communication is poor, and that they feel unheard. And honestly, that's what happens when your commissioner acts like a corporate executive instead of someone who actually understands the sport. She's out there talking about growth strategy and market penetration, while the players are like, can we at least get better refs and fair treatment? It's two different worlds. But the funniest part, Adam Silver. Yes, NBA Adam Silver has quietly become more respected among WNBA players than Kathy herself. He's over there setting up expansion talks, making deals with China, and ensuring there's no lockout. Meanwhile, Kathy's biggest public moment lately was getting booed on camera. That says everything. And speaking of expansion, let's not forget how she handled the new franchises. Toronto and Portland are joining the WNBA, which sounds great on paper, but insiders say Kathy had almost nothing to do with it. It was Adam Silver's team managing the logistics, negotiating media deals, and connecting sponsors. So basically, the WNBA's future is being handled by the NBA because their own commissioner can't, and fans can see that. That's why social media has been brutal lately, with memes, jokes, and entire threads roasting her leadership. One fan wrote, "How is Kathy still commissioner when even the refs look like they hate her?" Another said, "We booed her so hard ESPN blurred us out, and she still came to work the next day." People aren't just annoyed, they're fed up. Because this feels like a pattern where accountability never reaches the top. Kathy's been criticized for mishandling everything from league marketing to player safety to salary talks. But every time something goes wrong, she releases a statement full of buzzwords and moves on like nothing happened. And now, with the Caitlin Clark feud still fresh, the league is walking on thin ice. You'd think the WNBA would learn from its PR mistakes, but nope, they doubled down. They even put Kathy front and center again at the finals, like that was going to change anyone's mind. Spoiler alert, it did. If anything, it made things worse, because the optics were awful. A commissioner getting booed while handing the trophy to the winning team, that's not a good look for a growing league. And it's not like the players were thrilled either. You could see it on their faces, that awkward smile that says, "Can we just get this over with?" Meanwhile, Kathy looked like she was trying to pretend the noise didn't exist. She smiled, handed the trophy, and acted like everything was fine. But everyone watching knew, it wasn't fine. This is a commissioner whose league is growing despite her, not because of her. And now, she's clinging to that position while the walls around her are crumbling. Even media outlets like Essential Sports are calling her out now, saying she's untouched despite widespread discontent. That's corporate talk for, nobody likes her, but she's somehow still in charge. So why is she still there? That's the million-dollar question. Some say it's because the board doesn't want to make a leadership change in the middle of a CBA negotiation. Others say she's being protected by certain owners, who think firing her now would make the league look unstable. Either way, it's a bad look. Because the longer she stays, the worse the WNBA looks to the public. You can't claim to be a league of progress when your own players and fans are begging for new leadership. And you definitely can't rebuild trust when your commissioner openly dismissed the player who's brought the most attention to your sport in decades. So yeah, fans have every right to be mad, because this isn't just about one feud. It's about accountability, respect, and whether the WNBA actually listens to the people who built its success. And right now, it doesn't look like they are. Now that we've gone through all the drama, the boos, the backlash, the bad money moves, let's talk about where things stand right now. Even though the fans are furious, the WNBA is acting like nothing happened. Cathy Engelbert is still showing up to press events, smiling for cameras, and giving her usual robotic answers about growth, partnerships, and the bright future of women's basketball. Meanwhile, half the league doesn't even want to be in the same room with her. Let's start with the owners, because they're the ones quietly running out of patience. Reports say their relationship with Cathy has become, quote, strained and uncomfortable. Translation, they don't trust her judgment anymore. They're angry about how she sold off that 16% stake for $75 million, because now that same stake would have been worth hundreds of millions more. That's not just a bad deal, that's a career-ending mistake. And it's not like she warned anyone. She didn't tell owners that the league's valuation was about to skyrocket, thanks to Caitlin Clark's arrival, and a massive spike in viewership. She made that deal before the boom, locked it in, and now everyone's paying the price, except her. Even players have started connecting the dots. They've realized that while the league keeps bragging about record growth, they're still fighting for basic pay raises and charter flights. And that's the thing. The money is there, it's just in the wrong hand. Cathy's been too busy trying to make the league look professional on paper, while ignoring the people actually keeping it alive. That's why fans were so mad when she dismissed the Caitlin Clark situation. It wasn't just a bad PR move, it was proof that she's out of touch with reality. You can't have your star player being targeted, fouled and mocked game after game, and then tell reporters, oh, it's not about one player. Yes, it is, Cathy. It's very much about one player. Because without that one player, you don't have sold-out arenas, record TV ratings, or new sponsors lining up. You don't have the WNBA's current success story at all. But instead of protecting that, she tried to spread the credit around, pretending that everyone's responsible for the growth, when we all know who really moved the needle. It's like watching someone fail a group project, but still demand an A because we all tried. Now here's the part that's really wild. Adam Silver is starting to step in more and more. He's supposed to be running the NBA, but lately, he's been quietly overseeing WNBA operations too. He's talking about expansion in China, handling TV rights, and basically acting like the adult in the room. And honestly, fans love it because Adam Silver actually gets it. He knows how to sell basketball. He knows how to grow markets. And most importantly, he knows how to listen. That's something Cathy Engelbert has failed at over and over again. You can't keep ignoring the biggest storyline in your league, Caitlin Clark, and expect fans to respect you. You can't let your players publicly criticize your leadership and act like everything's fine. And you definitely can't pretend to lead with transparency when half your decisions happen behind closed doors with zero communication. The league is growing in spite of her, not because of her, and everyone sees it now. So when fans started the Fire Cathy trend on X, formerly Twitter, it wasn't random hate. It was a reaction to years of frustration because every time the WNBA has a chance to build momentum, something gets in the way. And that something usually traces back to Cathy's decision. Remember when she said the WNBA would be sustainable without the NBA's help? That was cute, because the moment things got serious, who showed up? Adam Silver. He's now working behind the scenes to make sure there's no lockout, no major financial fallout, and that the WNBA actually keeps running. He's doing her job for her, and doing it better. That's what's embarrassing here. The NBA commissioner is saving the WNBA commissioner from her own league. And you'd think that would make Cathy step up, right? Maybe take some responsibility, admit mistakes, or at least acknowledge fan frustration. Nope. Instead, she's doubling down, talking about record metrics and viewership milestones. It's the same script every time. Like she's hoping that if she keeps saying growth enough, people will forget how bad her leadership has been. But fans aren't stupid. They see through the corporate spin. They see the players unhappy, the owners frustrated, and Adam Silver slowly taking control. They see a commissioner who's lost the locker room, lost the crowd, and is one bad press conference away from losing the league's trust completely. And yet, she's still there, still smiling, still holding on to that title like nothing's wrong. It's actually impressive, in the worst way possible. So now, fans are asking the question everyone's been thinking: how much longer can this go on? Because the WNBA is growing fast, faster than anyone expected, and it needs real leadership to handle what comes next. Kathy Engelbert isn't that leader. She's the corporate face of a league that's being carried by its players, saved by the NBA, and held together by fans who just want accountability. At some point the board will have to face reality. They can either keep protecting Kathy and risk losing the momentum the league finally built, or they can make a change and actually listen to the people who care. Because the truth is, this league doesn't need another press release. It needs a reset.